For this video, we are going to be practicing creating expressions in order to reach a certain value when we simplify. In this case, we must include at least 3 integers, and we must include at least 2 operations. And I've got the operations that are included in that. All right, so the first one here is 120. So when I am working on this, I always identify smaller factors that I can work with. Looking at just the larger number can feel kind of overwhelming sometimes. So for the 120, 2 factors that we can use that I'm going to go ahead and select are 12 times 10. Okay, so now I need to come up with expressions that get me to 12 and also get me to 10. All right, so I'm going to start with 12. There are lots of different ways for me to get to that number. I'm going to go ahead and do, let's see, how about 2 times 6? So there's my 12. And then I know that whatever I get for breaking down the 10, I also have to multiply. So I'm going to do multiplication here. All right, and then what I need to include is how I can get to 10. All right, now we do have to include order of operations, right? Because we can't just put integers down and assume that it's going to be done in the correct order. So in this case, I need to make sure that what I have, the 2 times 6, is multiplied by whatever gives me the 10. So because of that, I am going to include parentheses. So one way that I can get to 10, let's see, how about is 7 plus 3. All right, so here I've got my 12. And then I multiply by what's inside the parentheses, which is 10. And so that gives me 120. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite the expression, but I'm going to clean it up just a little bit. Because instead of having to include this dot, if I have something sitting right next to a parenthesis, that means multiplication also. So the first expression is absolutely fine. I'm going to rewrite it, though, like this. And notice I just replaced the dot here with the number right next to the parenthesis. So there you go. That is one of many expressions that get you to 120. All right, so how about negative 35? So I'm going to do the same thing in terms of what factors, right, give me negative 35. So let's see here. How about negative 5 and 7? Okay, so let's see. For the negative 5, if I do, how about, I don't know, 5 minus 10, right? That gives me negative 5. I'm going to be multiplying that times something. So I put parentheses around here. Given that it's subtraction, which is one of the last things that we do in order of operations, I'm just assuming I have to include parentheses to make sure that everything's done in the correct order. Okay, so there's my negative 5. Now let's see here. What if we did times, how about 3 plus 4? So notice again, I've included parentheses because I need to make sure that I get my negative 5, right, which is that first parenthesis, and I multiply it by what's inside the second parenthesis, which is 7. And that gives me negative 35. So here is the expression that will get me to that. And the thing to remember is that there are numerous correct answers on this. So, if you were to compare answers with someone sitting next to you, they may be different, but that doesn't mean that either of them are wrong. So, just in summary, I highly recommend using smaller factors to create your expressions rather than just starting with the whole big number and trying to break it down from there.